From the most vicious knockouts in combat sport to the high-speed races that leaves your insides without support to the insane plays on the basketball court. People's Show Bros Talk Sports. Welcome, Hastro family, to another Hardwood and Astroturf talk show where we talk sports. We got a nice lineup for you guys. We talking NBA, we talking football, we talking F1, we talking boxing. But as always, before we dive right into our discussion, you can check out how the Hastro Bros doing. This week we can start with Cody. Cody, how you doing, my brother?
That's not green Ollie. At the same goal, happy to talk about it. Happy man today.
Nice, nice. Rayvon, what's the
Doing good,
action,
man.
man?
You're doing good. Had a relatively relaxing week. Vacation, so
Yeah.
living it up a little bit.
Wait, the breezy?
And breathing. And breathing. So it feel good to be here,
I would
ready to
like
get
one
into
of them,
some.
no.
Man, everybody's think so. Everybody's want one of them permanent vacation,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So yeah, just feeling good. I'm ready to talk with all sports. You know how we do.
Nice, nice. All right, people. Don't forget, leave a like on this video so that YouTube can send it out to more people. Also, be free to comment throughout the stream. We'll welcome those comments. We'll respond to your questions as well. And yeah, sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation that we're going to have today. We're going to dive right into it, people. Talking football first. The elephant in the room, Manchester United versus Watford. What an upset. But, from the results that Man you've been getting so far for the season, it's not really a surprise, but in general, it is. Cody, what you got on this?
Not surprising at all. I have that surprise to me.
Yeah.
Ollie has had his team. He had probably the best squad. I honestly would say, as even a Chelsea fan being objective, he has one of the best squads in the Premier League. And then to be throwing it away every game that they've played, there's no cohesion in the play. There's no style of play. The players are looking very disjointed, looking very disorganized at the back, and that goes again to show the 4-1 result yesterday, which is quite funny because they were 2-0 down. He brings on Donny van de Beek, who has had a kick for Ollie for the whole time. And he scores a goal. I almost saves Ollie's job coming on there the last bit. So it's quite ironic that the fella that he was holding back this whole time almost saved his job.
It was his guardian angel.
Yeah, almost.
Almost.
But
and
there
then
were
it got
also
messed up with our red card too.
Yeah, I have no words. Harry Maguire is not at the caliber of a Manchester United. He's not a Manchester United captain. He's not of that standard, and it's not his fault. He went with a place where they was going to pay him the most money, which anyone who's working would do, but he's not of the caliber. He just simply isn't. He's not the caliber to be an England captain either, but that's another discussion. So really, truly, Ollie should not have been put in position to lose yesterday anyway. He should have been relieved of his duties a month ago, really and truly. But no, it leaves Manchester United in a predicament because there are no more elite coaches other than Zinedine Zidane left who will be free. And so now they will have to know payout compensation for, say, Antonio Conte, who just started his job, or the Ajax manager. And those are going to be some costly decisions, along with having to pay Ollie £7.5 million. So no, these are some costly decisions that they're
That's the thing about
inactivity,
right?
So now their inactivity and procrastination when it comes to making decisions is going to cost them huge amounts of money yet again. So it's pretty poor by the United board as usual. So it's not only Ollie mistake or mess up, but it's also the board, and people really are not taking that into account as well.
Right, but I mean, even the fact that Sar missed twice, which was shocking.
Like, 2 penalties.
Yeah, the hair was on point in those two situations. Even through all that, the thing that had me most was the 2 goals that scored in extra time.
Right.
I don't know how that happened, but that was insane. Because I felt like the game should have ended 2-1 or whatever, but having two more goals within 5 minutes, 3 minutes
It
maybe.
was about an answer long it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was a very short space of time. What are your thoughts about that?
But playing with 10 men is always very difficult. There's no debate there. But they're
Mhm.
also done with their two best defenders. So the best defender was Maguire and Varane. Varane is also injured. So at the end, those two goals really didn't matter. To me, those two goals really just cemented that Oli should have gone. It really just forced the Boers' hand into firing Oli because the outrage that we would have seen from the United fans after after the scoreline that they would have witnessed. Because even the style of play, it was just such a poor performance overall by United that
Yeah,
they deserved the 4-1. So the 4-1 was reflective of what was really produced there on the field.
should have been five.
Could have been, could have been, honestly.
Well, I think that might eliminate the meeting at the Hollywood just for idea and then it's all on talk.
Yeah.
Straight from the
But no,
pitch.
Yeah.
but it's like it really leaves United in a pretty precarious position because one I've spoken about the managers are not out there, but no, they're putting a caretaker manager in like Qatar who was just Ollie's number two, and they have two big games coming up. They have the Villarreal in Europe this week, which is an important game because of how poorly they were throughout the whole time. So if they need this is a must win game for them. And then they also have Chelsea at the weekend where table leaders. So it's looking like a setup for another couple of drummings. So then,
Mhm.
and then to fire him without having a interim manager at least in place,
Mhm.
it shows poor continuity planning by the Man United board.
I think
Yeah.
so. You think that's where the root of the problem stems from? Because,
The board,
yeah, because
yeah,
they get it wrong with the managers each and every time. You don't feel.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a problem with the board. It's a structural problem with the owner, I would say, first of all, because he just seems to not care about the football aspect of things. Man United is the richest club in the world and its biggest club in the world and will continuously make revenue. That is up for no debate. So he's only it seems I can't speak for the man, but it appears that he's only concerned about the monetary aspect of Manchester and not the footballing aspect. But if he was to really study himself, if the footballing aspect is on the decline, then the monetary part will be on the decline soon after. So it would be in his best interest to have the footballing aspect running smoothly. Doesn't seem to be a bother about that though.
I, I agree. I agree totally. Like it always starts from at the top, right? It always starts from management, from the board, people making the big decisions, and then it would trickle down to the people who actually putting in the hands-on work, most of the hands-on work, to get the job done. Um, Liverpool and Arsenal, not a surprising result either. What you thought about that game?
Our, we thought Arsenal were on a race. Arsenal started the season dismal. It was just abysmal how they started the season. But
Mhm.
they seem to have found their straight in say last 5-7 games or so. But coming up against opponents that just are too much for them. Arsenal are not of class or ilk of a champions winning team.
Mhm.
Um, but nothing to say. It's just an expected result. Liverpool are smooth and as silk as usual.
Yeah.
Arsenal just not the level. But the biggest talking point to me coming out of that match was the bust up between Jurgen Klopp and Arteta. I didn't know Arteta had it in him to be a bad boy, but things we love to see.
Yeah. Piggybacking off of that though, Watford, not Watford, West Ham had played Liverpool last week, and
Right.
West Ham was victorious in that matchup. And we see West Ham being defeated by Wolverhampton
Yeah.
this week. I don't know how Liverpool let that happen because that's one unnecessary blemish in their
Uh,
record right now.
but I would say though, just a point to that, West Ham has been showing steady growth for the last 3-4 years in the club, and they really seem to be a top four side now at this point. I think that there should really be a shake up of what we consider the big four teams in Premier League because Arsenal is no longer that, and I really think that West Ham have proven themselves over the years now to be a
Agreed.
real big four, not take the challenger, but big four, top four finish challenger for sure. Um, they have some great players at Declan Rice who would have contributed to the win against Liverpool, and it's not surprising. So I won't consider it a blemish. It's a tricky fixture for any team, for any top side. West Ham.
Okay, fair enough. Last but not least, well, I shouldn't say last but not least, but the other game we have on the agenda is Chelsea versus Leicester City. Chelsea, of course, in form, like in crazy form. And I know that touched your heart a little bit different. Putting 3 in the champions that have been champions a few seasons ago, but still a pretty solid side. What are your thoughts about that game?
So Leicester's also a very tricky. Just like I would have said for West Ham, they've proven itself not to be a top 4 challenger, like, perennially not at this point. So it's always a tricky challenge for any team. But Chelsea made it look academic. I'll be quite honest with you. The first half they walked all over Leicester. Leicester was too open. There was so much gap between the back line and the midfield, and Chelsea's midfielders were able to run through those gaps with ease each and every single time. They had no answers to the wing backs as well. It was too easy. It really was too easy. Mendy only had 2 real saves to make. Too academic, and then it honestly could have been seven goals, because Chelsea had three goals ruled up for offside. So 3 goals actually went back in net, but were later found to be offside. Really could have been 6 or 7. Leicester was never in the game. Chelsea are really truly looking like champions elect now at this point. I think a game against Manu, Liverpool and City, if they win through those games, I really do believe that they'll be champions elect after those games.
So between Chelsea and City and Liverpool, you still thinking that Chelsea will come out on top in those games? Putting your fandom aside.
To be quite, I would say, yeah, honestly, because from what I'm seeing at Chelsea, they're not conceding goals. They still score 3 or 4 goals like every match. So even coming up against a team like Liverpool, they still have the defensive solidity to withstand any pressure from Liverpool or Man City. But Man City does pose the biggest threat to Chelsea each and every time. That's going to be their hardest match.
Nice. Steven Gerrard, I know you wanted to talk about Steven a little bit. So this.
Yeah, so
he's on a winning streak.
Yeah, that was a former rival, a Liverpool legend, but he's really proven himself to be a quite capable and competent manager. So coming into the Premier League now, his first game for Aston Villa, 1-0. He seemed to have all the right changes, all the right tactics and stuff. So even coming out from the Scottish League and now coming to the Premier League, he's really showing the capabilities of a top manager. So just hoping that this continues for him and see the rise of Steven Gerrard, hopefully. Maybe it'll be Gerrard versus Frank Lampard again in not too distant future again.
Fair enough. Peoples, we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to come back and talk about NBA. We got a lot of stuff to discuss, so stay tuned.
Oh, yes, we do.
Pretty soon.
Yes, we do.
We are back. We are back, people, to talk some NBA. You know how this goes. We always start off with a recap of our predictions from last week for the marquee matchups that we have for you guys. The first one is Warriors versus Nets. We all knew how this was going to go.
Yeah.
Um, right, Ron, you want to give everyone like a little debrief on the game?
Man, I didn't think. All right, yes, we had a perception of how we go. We all expected the Warriors to win, given the form that they were playing in, but we
Mhm.
didn't think that it was going to be the. I could call it a borderline blow. That it was.
Except
Yeah.
Cody, right?
Okay,
Except.
all right, okay. I just give Jackie jacket, I just give Jackie jacket. You get your props. You said they would have beat them by 15. You get your extra points. You get your props. So you're
Yeah,
covered.
sir.
They won by 18, right?
18 points. 18
18
points. Yo, you
points.
get lucky because the bench unit for the Nets was starting to heat up. You get real lucky. So, but it was just embarrassing to see Steve Nash even give Harden or KD a chance to play in the fourth quarter. Really, he just yanked them
Mhm.
straight after the third. He was like, not having it. The game already done.
Yeah.
But I must
Yeah.
say the Warriors are. I don't know, boy. It just left me lost for words. They are playing. They're the most cohesive team. I could say along with the Wizards, just an honorable mention, but the most
Mhm.
cohesive team that I've seen for the entirety of the season so far, and the result, the record speaks for itself. Steph Curry
Yeah.
has been playing out of his mind, just coming off a winning the
Good
scoring title
leadership
last
on,
year.
on,
Yeah,
on his end
on
too.
both ends too.
Yeah.
Like people don't really rate Steph Curry on the defensive end, but he just
Mhm.
he just makes a lot of winning plays, man. The man is
Yeah.
sensational. We can talk about him a little bit more in the segment, but the Nets just really disappointing, truthfully. Even though they didn't pit into win, I was hoping that they would have put up a bigger fight. Draymond's defense on KD was exceptional. Draymond, I mean, there's only so much you could do against KD, but
Yeah.
Draymond was
Yeah.
all over him, all
He had
over.
his number. I
Yeah,
mean, he had a couple of years in practice with KD,
exactly,
so he might have had
exactly.
that little extra experience in order
Yeah,
to get the job done.
for
So
sure,
yeah.
for sure that plays a role. But Draymond is just, I think, a wizard. He's cerebrally, he's just amazing on
Yeah.
not just on the basketball court in a whole. Because like for a guy that it's not really that that skilled in terms of scoring and what's not. He knows the game so well that he could be such a great facilitator, even though he is not an offensive threat. And that's funny. We was looking
Mhm.
at Ben Simmons and what's not being an offensive threat, but this is a guy that um, I guess Ben Simmons could kind of emulate his game after, which he kind of already does to a certain
Yeah.
extent. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
um, like he's a guy that has success not being big of an offensive threat.
Yeah.
But I guess the weapons are wrong is different. You got Clay, you got Curry, and,
Yeah.
and only Sixers you don't got that. But just a exceptional defensive performance from Draymond Green. I to me he's right now from running on my list for defensive player of the year, because when I've seen him on the court for the team and off the court, the difference is stark. Not to say the other players on the Warriors team aren't doing a great job defensively, but Draymond
Mhm.
really hits it up a few other levels. Truthfully,
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that last week it was when we were talking about this matchup, we were saying that if Draymond is on for the night and he brings
yeah,
that energy, that Warriors would definitely
yeah,
do what they have to do. So it showed.
for
It
sure,
showed
for
on the
sure.
night. Wizards versus Heat. That was the next prediction that we had for this week. Go
The
ahead.
the Wizards, man. The funny thing about it, all right. So the Wizards lost
Wait,
that game that we
for,
predicted. Yeah,
first of all, who I think I chose Wizard. I think Cody chose Wizards and you chose Heat.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Right.
Yeah, go
And
ahead.
I was the only winner. uh, but we already explained previously why we would have chosen the picks. But the
Mhm.
funny thing about it, the Heat lost to the Wizards last night. That's funny. Um,
Yeah.
and it was kind of shocking too, because they were down a lot. I didn't even realize that they would have come out and win. Like,
Mhm.
they found a way to grind through it
Wait.
and won the last game that they played.
Right. I
Yeah,
I
sure.
thought that we were picking on last night's game. I didn't think we were picking on even
Don't come
previous
with
season.
that there, so no. We talking beer foolishness. Don't come with that. You talking beer food. Don't come with that. Don't come with
Let's
that.
split it, man. We
Don't
should
come with
split it.
that. Don't come with that at all. I got the date on the Instagram post, so you can go from the Instagram post and double check the date on it. Don't come with that.
That's
But
the
All right,
point
well.
going, boy. I'm going
nonetheless,
to. Don't worry. I hate struggling on the predictions.
nonetheless, um,
Yeah, yeah.
in the game that I watched totally, the first
This was
Wizards
the
game,
first one.
yeah, the
Yeah.
first game. Uh, Truthfully, the Heat started out kind of shaky on offense, but their defense was keeping them in the game, as will be the occurrence through the rest of the the rest of the season. Truthfully,
Mhm.
Kyle still looks. Kyle still been struggling on offense, in
Yep.
terms of getting his own points. He's been dishing out the ball and what's not, but Jimmy Butler was Jimmy Butler. He did Jimmy Butler things. He
Buckets.
had Jimmy buckets, boy.
Yeah.
He did Jimmy Butler things. They pretty much controlled the game from the start to the finish. The Wizards were hanging in there for the most part. Um, Bradley Beal was okay, just okay. Um, I actually thought Cools was playing pretty well, but he was kind of keeping them in the game, to be honest. But he didn't really have that big of an explosion to really get him back to that point. Um, they were missing Spencer Dinwiddie, and I think that was the difference between that game and this game. This game they had the last game that they just played. They had Dinwiddie with them. I can't remember what he was out for in the first meeting, but he clearly makes a big difference. I guess their edge and their competitive nature, because as I said in the first one, the Heat were just in control from start to finish. Um, Tyler Hero also had a good game. Tyler Hero is just getting buckets late. This is one man that carried over his preseason hype into the regular season so
Yeah.
far. He's
Yeah.
still averaging about 20 points a game off the bench, may I add, and
Yeah.
Maz is cooking it up. So it's good to see. It's good to see him performing, and not not you know living up to the expectations that he set for himself.
Yeah.
Still don't think he in that conversation with Trey or Luca, but he's playing a lot better than he was last year, and it's good stuff to see.
Don't
Good
worry, man.
basketball.
Once he continues that momentum, he definitely be in conversation with those big names and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So, I mean, he still got time in the NBA, right?
yeah,
So,
man. He's young, like he pretty younger than us. He must be like 23 or
yeah,
22.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. So, yeah, he got time to definitely shine and develop as a player. So, yeah. We can move on to who's hot and who's not in terms of the teams.
yeah,
Um, we already know Warriors in
yeah,
that bracket.
yeah. That
Like,
goes without saying. You
yeah,
don't really gotta say
yeah,
much about them. It just is what it is. I feel like
exactly.
the last few weeks have been just a bunch of Warrior stars because they've been so impressive. I like right now in the West, it is the Warriors and the Suns.
Hmm.
Um, like you can't really talk about any of the other teams. It just seems so wide open. And in the
Right.
East is a little bit more competitive, actually, contrary to what it would usually be viewed as, which is, as I said a couple of weeks back, that's
Yeah.
great for the
Yeah.
league.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
the
The
Wizards still at
Hornets
the
got
top.
their sting back too.
Yeah, for sure. I think they won like five in a row now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
they're they're really
How
putting
has
it
Ball
on.
been playing? Because I didn't see much of
Yeah,
the Hornets recently.
um, I think he's been doing his stuff. It's
Yeah.
pretty average, nothing too outstanding, nothing too flashy. Understanding the game, finding the teammates, putting them in better positions to win. Being, I would say, being a real leader, for the team
Being
at such a
being a
young age.
cognitive player as well.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
As I said, he's been showing a lot of maturity, after just being in the league for a year essentially, and maybe literally
He
just a
got his
year.
brother. He got other
Yeah,
people that he probably had exposure to, probably watching basketball for a
yeah,
long time or understanding the game. So
yeah. It's true.
actually, to because most of these guys got that either way. Like
Hmm.
they always have this experience and knowing the game, but to actually put it out in the league at such a young age is
Hmm.
actually a talking point,
Yeah,
and it's much credit to him
yeah. I think
actually.
yeah, and I think with him, his path to the NBA was so different. I presume he had to grow up a lot quicker than some other people had to
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
of the a lot of moving, going from to Lithuania and to Australia and stuff like that. So
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess those experiences would have built his character to to be mature beyond his years to a certain extent. And
Right.
it's showing out on the basketball court a lot, truthfully. And I think he's been galvanizing them to victories just through that alone. So
Hmm.
that's great to see. He still has some. We have a pretty good veteran. Gardner Hayward can not Gardner Hayward, even though he again no age, but he's still hooping. Truthfully, so a good veteran to learn from. Truthfully, he's like a true
Yeah.
professional, and yeah, they after they were dropping down last week. They would have dropped a couple games back to back, and we're looking kind of shabby, and it was looking like a fluke when they start that they had, but they really found a way to pick it back up um,
Hmm.
over the past week. So that's good to see. Excited to see the Hornets go forward with their play.
Yeah. I know that you have Heat in this list, but they've won against Wizards and then they got beat by the Wizards.
Yeah,
Like, you sure that them still hot, or
uh,
are them trying to get back there?
I, I mean, the standings speak for themselves. They're still on top of the standings, truthfully. I mean, they
Yeah.
lose some that they maybe shouldn't have, or maybe they don't want to lose. But the thing about it is scary because they're still in this position, and then to me, them still figuring it out. you know,
Yeah.
Hmm.
them
Yeah.
still figuring it out. They haven't get hit on all cylinders as yet. As I tell you, Kyle
Right.
Lowry has not been as good as an offensive performer as he could be. Like he's
Right.
averaging like under 10 points a game. That's not Kyle Lowry, truthfully. We know this,
Hmm.
and we know that he's going to get better. Jimmy
Maybe his
has been,
fineness needs to sharpen up.
yeah, and I feel like him and Bam has a lot more that they could give that they haven't been showing so far.
Yeah.
Defensively, they've been fine, but just on the offensive end alone, like as I said, it's been Jimmy and Tyler Hero that's been carrying their offense. Truthfully, I would say sometimes more so Tyler Hero than anybody else. Like if you need a bucket, get that guy the ball. Like
Hmm.
he turned into like last year's version of Jordan Clarkson is just a heater then like just a flamethrower.
Hmm.
Just put that guy in there so he can get you a bucket somewhere somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you all saw the alley oop pass that he threw that actually went in to score.
No, no,
Nah,
Nah, nah.
like that's just like those sort of things happen to people that are really on it. In
Yeah,
terms
yeah,
in terms of scoring, like
yeah.
I sure he can't do that again, but you know.
The ball just finding the
Yeah,
basket, I
the
guess.
ball just found it.
Um, Talk about Suns a little bit because I know that you didn't really talk much about them, but
Chris Paul is the point guard. I I must say, like there is no. I don't know how
his
this man
vision
does
is
it.
is crazy though.
Yeah, and he just
Yeah.
passed. He just reached a milestone to for most games with 10 plus assists. Like he's like third all time. Just passed like a
Okay.
great point guard. I can't remember who it was, but
I think he also had a good mention a couple of games back too.
uh,
In
He did.
in one of those earlier games when you said that he played like garbage, he had passed another player
yeah, yeah,
in a milestone situation
he
as
had two
well.
recent things on the all-time list of assists.
Yeah, it's
Um,
crazy, man.
yeah, that's a real point guard right there. Like, that's the thing about him, man. Right, like this Chris Paul's I guess procedure in games. For the first 3 quarters, he can just try to get everybody involved, and then in the fourth quarter, all of a sudden this man just get him buckets. And like I watched it first time. I watched him play the Timberwolves last Monday, and it was just like this man was a non-fighter. This man was like 1 for 7. The man scored 19 points in the first fourth quarter, just popping out my eyes. I was like, oh, where the hell this come from? All of a sudden, but that's Chris Paul. That's Chris
Yeah,
Paul, and I could see
the
that.
man's been measuring up silently.
And like when he was at OKC, that was the year before. Like he was doing that same thing too. He was scoring a little bit more points, but the fourth quarters was just Chris Paul quarters. Chris
Mm.
Paul quarters. Like no matter what happened in the first part of the game, he just erupts. Even it don't even have to be with scoring something. Just this galvanizing the team and getting them to play together and you know doing the things that you're supposed to do to win. Like Chris
Hmm.
Paul is just a winner straight. Like, and his impact on this team has been well documented, but it can never be understated. Like the Suns came from the depths of the I could call it Western Conference purgatory in this case.
From the ashes, man, the
Yeah,
phoenix
yeah,
rising.
it's true. Like the glow up that they had when Chris Paul came to the team was just
Mm,
amazing, and they continue to build on it. 11 in a row,
Suns rise
the
again.
best streak in the NBA right now, the longest streak in the NBA, and they keep finding ways to build on it. So we'll see this week if someone will stop them in their tracks.
Let
Um,
me see what happens when Suns meet Warriors again.
yeah, that should be an exciting
Does
game.
it?
Yeah.
Mm, yep. Um, who's not hot? Lakers for sure. Got trashed by Celtics this week.
Yeah, that was
Like
embarrassing.
disgusting
Yeah.
130 to 108. I'm actually surprised Lakers got past 100 too. But but yeah, I don't know what's going on with Lakers, man. It's taking them really long to find some type of stride.
Yeah, and the guys in the purple and gold just, eh, you know, we knew that they would take some time to figure out. And then obviously with LeBron being out for that bit of time, that didn't help with any progress.
Right.
It just put Westbrook in that state where he's like, oh, I ain't got the ball now, so I could go and do a lot more. But that's not
Yeah.
how the team can play when LeBron playing. So it's like, all right, you got to adjust to LeBron being, you got to readjust to LeBron being back in. AD in helping it because AD is not being the dominant AD that we know that he can be. I feel like he finding a lot of excuses.
But you gotta remember that AD's dominance was a big part of his pairing with LeBron,
Yeah, I agree. I agree
right?
totally.
So yeah, trying to figure out that whole Westbrook scenario and
Yeah,
dynamic. He now got to reform when Westbrook got the ball in
exactly,
hand coming down the court. So
exactly.
I don't know. Should he make excuses? Maybe not. Maybe he should try to point out work and
Hmm.
not say too much about that
Yeah,
situation. But hey,
yeah.
is players sometimes, right?
That game against Giannis just came in and just went berserk. Like I feel like Giannis was taking that game personally. 47 on KD head, on AD's head. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
he was just going. He was just going at them. And you know, it was a big discussion about who was better. But I don't even know if it's a debate right now. I know after the bubble, everybody was like, AD is probably taking that next step to be to the best player in the league, etc., etc. It hasn't happened as yet, and the bubble has been like what, like two
Two
seasons ago
seasons.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Um.
Lakers. I don't know what to say about them truthfully, but LeBron is always finding ways to figure out somehow.
Yeah. New York and Pacers have been off too. I know Knicks had a good run earlier on, but now things have kind of cooled off for them as
Man,
well.
I can keep saying it again. The offense is a problem. Julius Randle cannot be. It is not sustainable for Julius Randle to just be jacking up them mid range tools. I feel like last year was an anomaly with Julius Randle. I can't I can't disregard him as improvement, but I just don't think that is a sustainable way to run the offense. And then when you see the bench for the Nets come on, is like I don't know the
Completely
holy
different
grail of
team.
basketball because they're doing all the right things that they're supposed to do, moving the
Yeah.
ball, etc., etc. Getting everybody involved, and it just the energy just feeling off of that, and it's just so embarrassing to see that you bench. At this point, you could just start your bench players, Tom Thibodeau, like Tom.
But you know what's
It's,
funny though? In sports, anytime you bring on people that aren't star players or whatever, you will find the ball moving around a whole lot more
yeah,
than if star players
well,
was on the field.
that's fair.
It's happening in football.
Yeah.
Like I've witnessed that before,
Mhm.
because I played football early on, and I've seen that before. Like players tend to not hold on for the ball because they
Yeah,
already know their capacity,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not gonna hog the ball as
yeah,
much. But when you see star players come on,
yeah,
they need to show something for somebody. I don't know,
yeah.
but
But
yeah,
I guess Julius Randle's 19 as a star our anointment as a star was kind of premature. Given
mm,
it was only the one season, but for me, as I said at the time, I was impressed with it, but I was a little bit skeptical as to how long it would hold up. And right now, we saw it in the playoffs last season. I know we seen it at the beginning of this season, and it hasn't been holding up. So they gotta find some other way
mm,
to get the starters on track because they've been abysmal, truthfully. But they've been
yeah,
squeaking out some wins here and there. The funny thing, they haven't been as good as on defense as I would have anticipated them to be. Um,
mm,
but they gotta find some way to figure it out, man. Uh, player will be topping some more, please. Like the Nets fans screaming for it. Tibbs just don't like to play like younger players. I guess he has more trust in the older players mostly, but player will be topping some more. Let it go develop into to something more than he is being played as right now.
Yeah.
Please.
That's a plead.
Yeah.
So the most outstanding game of the week. I see you have Warriors versus Cavs here.
Yes, for
Do you
those who
want to
missed
talk
that
about that?
game, like when I checked the score, it was like Warriors don't what against the Cavs. I mean, the Cavs. All due respect to the Cavs, the Cavs are playing great this season so far. Um, but
998, we talking about? Great.
yeah, they're playing great for Cavs standards. Normally that that would be
You
like
don't
what?
specify. You don't
Exactly.
specify.
Like they would be like what? Then probably would have only got 5 wins so far for the season. So
Fair enough.
in Cavs terms, they're playing great. And
Mm.
I saw the score. It was like 80 something 68. The Warriors were doing like
Mm.
13. Yeah, yeah, 81 68. And it was like, and carried into the fourth quarter. I was like, what? And the Warriors offense was that bad. The Cavaliers defense was that good, which is their calling card so far for the season. Their defense has been exceptional. Evan Mobley, their rookie, has been all over the court. Big guy, 7 foot, switching out to smaller players, keeping them in check. Promising rookie for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. I think he should probably be at the top of the rookie ladder.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think he got hurt recently, so he can be out for a little bit of week. So that probably hurt
Chances.
his ranking. He probably come back. He still got a lot of basketball left to play.
Oh,
Boy.
basketball. For sure.
um, so Steph Curry just I don't know. He just went off 20 points in that fourth quarter. The Warriors end the game being up 13 after being down 13 at the starting quarter. Like
Yeah.
what the hell? And I was trying to watch one of the games. I can't remember which game it was. I
That's
think
that
it was the
defense
same.
again, huh?
Actually, I think it was just offense. I think Curry was just going off. He was just facilitating everything. Everything was just running through him. They could not stop him. They had some lapses on Cavaliers side in terms of defense on
Mhm.
Curry, which you can't have. Like, let alone like get this man 2 inches. Like even when you on this man all over you, this man still scoring, still scoring.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can hit all this space. Nope, he can knock it down. 4 trees in the quarter. And like if you go back through the game log in the fourth quarter and go play by play, every single possession something to do with you just see Curry in the name, Curry in the possession, Curry assist, Curry three, Curry steal, Curry. He just took over that fourth quarter. And that was such an impressive game, and obviously the teammates had to play a part and hit the shot. Draymond was great again. Oh boy, this his name just slipped me. I just remember he has Steph Curry sister husband. I can't remember. Oh boy, I can't remember the man. That's bad. Damian Lee. There we go.
Yeah.
Damian
Yeah.
Lee. He was great. He was clutch too. Just a a, a winner's performance, outstanding performance from the Golden State team yet again.
Mhm.
A real inspirational comeback. Love to see it. Keep up the good work, Warriors. And Clay is on his way. Clay is on his way to up the ante. Cause
Mhm.
I think it was today, right? It was today, right? Cody?
Yeah, it's today. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He expected to be back by December, sometime in
Yeah.
December.
Playing by
Um,
Christmas.
yeah. So a lot of people are excited. Um, the league, scary hours, scary hours, scary
So
hours.
I'm guessing now that Sir Wardell is your player of the week.
Yeah, for sure. So for the week, Steph Curry had average 35 points a game, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. Come on, like a guy as small as this is probably small in the grand scheme of things, but
Mhm.
you would expect a guy to be that so small to be getting so much rebounds, 5 rebounds a game. Like, I mean, there's some smaller guys that actually
Yeah.
get more. Truthfully, like
Yeah.
Westbrook, for example, Westbrook be out there hunting them down, but
That's
um,
working like 6'5".
no, Westbrook's like 6'3".
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, to be honest, truthfully, I could agree with that. Westbrook looks way bigger on the court than he
Yeah.
actually is. I'm
Yeah.
not sure why, but that's the statistics. He's six. He this is that 6'3", but yeah,
Maybe
amazing.
because of his explosive style of
Yeah,
play, like
yeah.
he probably a lot bigger. So
I mean, his former explosive stuff.
Well,
Because that boy ain't playing no basketball though.
I don't know, man. He wasn't that
shots
bad.
fired.
Truthfully, he wasn't as bad as he could have been this week, but
Hmm.
he wasn't that as impactful as impactful as he could be. Um,
Right.
so, but yeah,
So
like
I got a question though.
mhm, mhm.
This is just a slow start for Westbrook, or this is the beginning of the end for Westbrook?
I feel like this is a pattern for Westbrook. Westbrook usually starts out the season slow. Season slow. I don't know why that gave me so much trouble to say seasons slow. Season slow. Uh,
Uh-huh.
especially when he playing with someone with like trying to adjust. Like when he went to the Rockets, that was a little bit of an adjustment period. When Paul George went to OKC, that was a little bit of an adjustment period. Kind of starts so the season pretty slow. I guess needs he needs a few games, maybe a handful of games to figure out. But in those cases, you only had two an extra person. No, he got two superstars playing next to him. So I don't
Right.
know how much longer he might need to figure it out. But
Probably double the amount of time.
yeah, maybe usually after the All Star break, Westbrook would usually
He's
go on a
kind of,
tear. Yeah,
kind of, yeah.
yeah. So I guess we gotta wait to see after the All Star break, which shouldn't be the case, but it is what it is, and that's been the pattern. That's all I could put it down to right now, truthfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, but back to
Um.
before you go
Go ahead.
back
Go
on
ahead.
Steph, yeah, player of the week for sure. I don't think anybody else could challenge that. I don't see anyone else playing at the performances that Steph has been for his team, like 240-point games. Um, just absolutely absurd. The chef is cooking, and it's beautiful basketball to watch. Truthfully, like
Not even Chris. Not even Chris.
nah, nah, like, you know what's going in like, in that same next game. You know what's going to somebody else arena, and they are cheering for you to be MVP. Not even the second person in the standings for the odds to win the MVP.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's so. For me, if it was Katie, that's so embarrassing. But I think Katie understands. I think Katie understands truthfully. But like
Hmm.
for me, that's so disrespectful. I don't know. I know when he went to the Cavs in the same Cavs game, the Cavs fans out there hunting MVP and things like that. It's like what? Like, but that
It's
just
not a
shows.
superstar.
Yeah, like that
He's
just
a
goes to
mega
show the
star
yeah,
actually. Not even a
just goes to
superstar.
show the
He's mega.
greatness of Steph Curry. Um,
Yeah.
it is uncomparable at this point, and it is a lot of fun to watch. Let me say that. Let me
Yeah.
say
I
that.
just think the fans appreciate the entertainment that he brings to the table.
Yeah,
I just think that,
Yeah.
that's all it is. Like when you see something great, you just gotta appreciate that
yeah. But
and,
this is
and become a fan of that.
this is the thing,
Yeah.
right? I was talking about it with my girlfriend about LeBron versus Steph Curry. Like LeBron is so great, but I never see that
Mhm.
happen. I feel like LeBron got so many haters, but I
Yeah.
guess you said like, it's like Steph Curry is just a likable guy. Like that on
Yeah.
top of the fact that he's great at basketball, and it's just even more reason for persons to to support him even in those situations.
I think it's his style of play, to be quite honest with you.
That
That's the
too.
difference. Yeah, because
That too.
when somebody draining trees, the way he draining trees,
Yeah.
that's way more exciting than LeBron driving to the basket. To be
Yeah.
quite honest
Yeah. Because he's usually the biggest guy going to the basket, huh? And around the basket at that point in time when he's going to score. So
Yeah.
with you. Yeah.
it's not as exciting, I guess. Um, we had manager fired, Luke Luke Walton
Well, yeah, the
during
coach,
this week.
the
The
Sacramento
coach,
coach.
yeah.
It is about time. It's been time for him to go. I do not know. I have absolutely no idea how on earth he get that Sacramento job. He the last coach. He was the last coach of the Lakers before Frank Vogel came on, and
Hmm.
he get a job right after that. And to me, Luke Walton is not a good coach. I do not know why. I think he just surviving on name alone because his father was Bill Walton, one of the greatest players of all
Yes.
time. um,
Hmm.
he benefited from that, and he is just. Uh, I'm so glad that he going. I don't know when he come to Sacramento. When
You feel like Man U fans right now?
And I know a Sacramento fan, but I just saying like,
No, no. I say that
yeah,
you feel like
yeah,
man, your
yeah,
fans ain't that man going.
yeah. But
You know, man, so.
I feel like league wide or NBA fan wide. That's not a word, but you know what I mean. Like people just
Yeah.
understood that Luke Walton is not a good coach. Full stop. I don't understand why the organization that hire him can't see that, and
Mhm.
he shouldn't have a coaching job. Not wishing bad on anybody's livelihood, but he just not that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Understood.
he really I think he really affected in terms of like the style of play of Sacramento. I can't remember who was he coached previously, but Sacramento actually had a good run just a couple of years ago. Um, Actually trying to wait for a playoff spot, and they were playing the most sensible way based on the personality they have, especially around De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is quick. They were playing in transition more, and Luke Walton came and took that down, took down the pace at which they were playing at, which affected the team because their best player wasn't able to maximize on what abilities had that makes him the best player that he could be. And just that alone, from the time he saw that, I was like, wait, what is man still here? And then the whole issue with Buddy Hield and what's not, it was just a whole mess. I just good riddance to you, Luke Walton.
You seem like you was being depressed at that point.
Good riddance to you, Luke Walton. That's a, I sure Sacramento will be a lot better now. Um, so I think they have Alvin Gentry on the coaching staff. So uh,
Mhm.
he probably get a shot at being the head coach, and he is a guy that likes to play fast. So uh, that would really probably boost up um, their performance coming on. Maybe the next half of the season, they're gonna have a little transition period more than lately, because we're still not
Right.
certain who will be the actual coach. Um, because they'll probably just put the interim coach who would have been the second under Luke Walton. Um,
Yeah.
I ain't sure who that is, but I'm glad for the Sacramento team, truthfully.
All right. So before we head out
Hmm.
for our break, predictions for this week.
Yeah.
We got Bulls versus Miami Heat. What are your predictions? Right one, we're gonna start with you today.
I can take the Bulls on this one.
That was
It's
a
a,
tight one.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking Bulls as well
It's a
because
tough one.
I I was saying even though Heat is playing good basketball, like Bulls have been consistent
Hmm.
for the most
For the
part,
most part,
and
yeah.
I think that they'll definitely bring it strong on the Heat. But yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, explain why you were
Yeah.
choosing Bulls.
Just simple. I think just looking at it, the Bulls have been playing inspired defense also, along with the
Mhm.
Heat. But I feel like their offense is a little bit more polished. Even though they have a team that is relatively new in terms of working together, Demar the Star has been been putting on a show,
Yeah.
having an MVP caliber season also. Truthfully, um, I I just think that they have the I guess a better offensive collection of players
Mhm.
that will be able to get the job done when the bucket needs to be to to be bucketed. For lack of a better word.
The choice of words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can take the Bulls in this one. I feel like this can be a
Yeah.
close one, but I can take the Bulls.
I was thinking close is the same way too.
Yeah.
I'm Bulls, Cody.
Yeah, this is gonna be Bulls with five. Bulls is actually my dark horse team to actually really come out win it all. To be quite honest with you, not win it all. Let me say get the conference finals.
All right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're my dark horse team. Bulls with
Yeah.
five.
Bulls.
And
Bulls
Bulls
by
definitely being strong.
Bulls by 5.
yeah, that if we get my extra points this week, and then the chat people also the same thing.
Sixers versus Warriors is probably a
That's
easier.
Yeah,
academic.
yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
academic
Yeah,
at this point.
academic.
I ain't got a choice. These people
Yeah.
probably saying that he's beer follow. I don't know. Like, but
It's Warriors for me.
yeah, I think the better man will go with Warriors.
Yeah.
I go with that one.
I can't have a go where Von Heat when I just picked this week. It's got to the Warriors.
It is what it is.
Well, you never know. We
Just
might see a bunch of red. We might get surprised from one of these things and see a bunch of red come the prediction results next week. Cody.
Come on, man.
Uh-huh.
I need the points. I actually need points.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, do you have a update on the points right now in terms of predictions? I'm pretty sure you're in the lead, or you tied with
Yeah,
Cody or something.
I did actually.
tight.
No, no, no. I in the lead still. God, you gotta tap my position. Got so many position. I know. You can't read it.
Cody Heartburn, ain't
Yeah.
it?
If Cody had get the second one right, we would have been tied, but you
Okay.
didn't. So,
Yeah.
I still in the front. I think I got 9 points here. Just checking it back, but I can post it on the Instagram after the stream, just to give the followers an update on what's happening
I
there.
gotta be on like 6 points or something.
Yeah, I think it
Cause
Yeah,
was.
but you,
I had a red week last week.
Yeah,
you only,
that was a tough one. That was a
yeah,
tough.
you only races a tour, bro.
That's
Right,
fine, man.
right. So right now I am on 8 points. Cody's on 7, and yes, you are on. Actually, you're on 5, Hans.
Five.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, why
Yeah,
not?
buddy.
Anyway, so guys, I hope you get involved in the predictions as well. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna be talking F1, and then we're gonna jump into some boxing as well. We had a nice card this weekend, and a card that would definitely bring in some conversation on who's next for the winner of that bout. Not gonna spill it yet, but if you know, you know what I'm talking about. So without any further talk, we come back and stay tuned, people.
Yes, guys, a little roll switch here. We are back. We're about to talk about some F1, and I know Hansa is extremely excited given the competition that
Yo.
is going on in the F1 racing leagues. Qatar Grand Prix. Let me start there. Lewis Hamilton come up with the win. Hey,
Yeah.
Woo!
he took
is
it. It's
I
close.
don't know, man. From the start of the weekend, from Friday, in practice, like this is a new race. Like this is a
Mhm.
new track. Everybody
Oh,
starting on a clean slate.
okay.
And in practice, Valtteri Bottas was actually the fastest. on track. But something happened between Friday and Saturday, man. Lewis picked it up, got into qualifying, and like just killed it. Was ahead of Max by almost half of a second, which is a lot.
Yeah, I saw it was like he was
Yeah,
butting.
yo, my guy was tearing it up. And Mercedes known for this straight line speed, and speed overall. So I don't think Red Bull was actually a match for Mercedes this weekend.
You predicted it.
I should say Lewis Hamilton, because even though Valtteri got the same car, like Lewis special. I know some people will say that Lewis only win championships because he have the fastest car, but that's not true. This man,
skill driver.
Yeah, this man on another level. This man consistency out the part. This man aggression out the part. He's able to control the race when he has to. When he needs to pick up the pace, he can get it done. This guy is just on another level, and yeah, I definitely gotta take my hat to Lewis Hamilton for this weekend. So it was a good race. Like, he started off on pole position, and like he said, it was pretty lonely at the top. Like, there wasn't anything that Red Bull could have done this weekend in order to catch Lewis Hamilton. He was just flying this weekend.
Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you feel like the same thing would occur for the next race, because I think it's a similar type of track, as you said.
This track would definitely favor the Mercedes cars. So something, like I said, something dreadful will have to happen in order for Lewis not to win this race. He definitely still has Max behind him for sure, because Max is that guy. But unfortunately, Red Bull going to need to find something different in terms of top speed in order to catch Mercedes this weekend. So hoping that it could be a little bit closer this time for Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton.
I like that. So talking about closer, if you take a look at the standings of the drivers, is like
Alonso
right there.
Perez up here.
It's like right there. Like if Lewis wins these last two races, will it be enough for him to trump Verstappen for the lead?
Definitely.
Sure.
He would definitely win. Right now they're separated by 8 points.
6 points.
6 points.
Yeah.
No worries. But no, I think it might be 8 for true.
8 points.
I think the difference is the Mercedes, the
constructors championship and drivers championship is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So for the constructors championship, I think there's a 5-point difference.
Yeah.
And then in the drivers championship, there's an 8-point difference. So this is interesting because if Lewis Hamilton wins the next race and get that one extra point for the fastest lap, they'll be tied in points. And going into Abu Dhabi, it'll be whoever wins the race wins the championship.
That's going to be exciting.
That is what I want to see. Not saying that I want Max to lose next race, but if Max win next race and he also plays second in the final race, he'll be okay. Like he'll have to finish out of the top 2 or 3 in order to. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it was just what I asked. If he comes second in both of the races, then he should probably be good to go.
No, there are 2 races left. Yeah, there are 2 races left. So if Lewis Hamilton wins next race, right, he will cut 7 points out of that point chase. So there will be 1 point apart, right?
And then if he wins the next one, then he'll be 7 points ahead again. Or no,
he will be. No, because he will be 1 point behind if he wins the next race. So let's say he win the next race, right? He gets 7 points ahead if Max comes second. Obviously, like this is assuming that they run 1-2 each time, right? Because ain't really much competition between the 2, other than Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez at times. So if Lewis wins this next race, he would be 1 point shy of tying with Max Verstappen. If he gets fastest lap in that race that he wins, he'll be tied for points going into the final race. So it's definitely close. Definitely a lot to fight for, both in constructors and in drivers championship. Because if Bottas don't perform, or if something else happens, like it happened today, Bottas got a flat and for some reason he didn't finish the race after he got his tires and stuff changed. It's going to be hard for Mercedes to get that constructors championship because Perez also has been performing recently. Like he killed it today. He started outside the top 10 and he finished fourth position by 2 seconds, 2.3 seconds or something like that. Like he was coming. And I think the thing that saved for Fernando Alonso, who came third in the Alpine. Yeah, I think he was saved by that virtual safety car because I believe it was someone else who got a puncture. So it was like 4 punctures this race, and it was well. They couldn't keep off the curbs, high speed track. Curves rough on the cars, so definitely some issues there. I don't know if they'll change it for the next time they visit Qatar, but yeah, it was definitely hard on the cars if you rode out those curbs as you would want to, I guess. But yeah.
This is a new track, so hey.
Yeah, for sure. But Sergio was flying. He was racing out of his mind today. He was absolutely ripping. So tough luck. He didn't get third position, but I think Fernando Alonso, after 105 races, dude, after 105 races, he got his podium after coming out of retirement because he had retired before, but he came back. I guess he couldn't get enough of F1, and he finally got that podium. Yeah. He finally. I mean, he's a champion as well. Like he's won a championship, but to wait that long, like it got to be a good feeling, especially to do it on a track that's new. I think he deserved it, man. So congrats to Fernando for sure.
Yeah. So what do you make of the fight for third place at this point between McLaren and Ferrari? I guess they're behind the oral battle outside of Red Bull and Mercedes. Who do you think would be in these next two races? Who do you think would be the victor for that third place spot?
Like you said, it's a different battle. So it's like first and second, let them do their thing, and then there's another fight over here.
So tough.
It's been tough on McLaren for the past couple of races. Daniel Ricciardo hasn't been able to perform to the level of the Ferrari drivers and Lando Norris. For whatever reason, I don't know that it takes this long for a driver to get accustomed to the car. But he's definitely been struggling. He had a win in Italy, and from there, I thought that he would have been pretty good, but he's not battling where he should be, and I think that's a little bit on the sad side for me because I would have loved to see a third place constructors battle as tight as the first place battle. So, yeah, I think Ferrari right now has got McLaren covered. To be honest, like I say, something drastic will have to happen in order for McLaren to actually catch them back. But yeah, I think Ferrari finished behind one another, like the two cars finished one behind the other in the last two races. So you can't really separate the Ferrari drivers, but McLaren, Ricciardo's definitely not up to speed with where Lando is right now. And unfortunately, Lando had an issue. He had a puncture as well. So it wasn't as dramatic as the other cars, but he had a puncture, cost him a couple of positions. And he's actually in a fight with Charles Leclerc, who's the Ferrari driver. And I think Leclerc is like 2 points behind him now or something like that in the Drivers' Championship. So definitely some battles all around the grid, and it's exciting for sure.
That's good. We on that topic, like speaking about, we just spoke about Alonso, and he drives for the Alpine.
Alpine Renault.
What are your thoughts battle between Alpine and AlphaTauri? I know that podium finish would have done Alpine well, and they also got a fifth place finish. Also, so they would have got some boost from those finishes. So what do you think about your fight with the AlphaTauri?
Alpha. So they would have been tied coming into this race in points, which is good. So like I said, like there's battles all around the grid, all over the place, between manufacturers, between drivers. So it's good for the sport. Yuki Tsunoda, this is his rookie year, so this is first year in F1. He's not doing too bad, but he's not performing at the level to be competitive with Alpine, and Alpine's been getting better and better and better. Esteban Ocon finishing fifth today. Alonso got third, like we mentioned before, so that definitely put them a good ways ahead. I think it's like 25 points or something. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but they're a good set of points ahead right now of AlphaTauri. If they could keep this up, they only got 2 more races to go. If they can keep this up and finish in the points for the remaining of the season, they'll definitely beat AlphaTauri and finishing fourth position, fifth. Yeah, fifth. Yeah, 25. Yeah, 25 points ahead. So, if they could keep this up, they'll definitely finish in fifth position, which is like the midfield for constructors, which is definitely something to fight for. That's bragging rights and everything like that. So, yeah, that's definitely something, because they've been fighting Aston Martin, and it's also been fighting AlphaTauri. So it's those three teams fighting for fifth place. So yeah, definitely happy for Alpine though. Definitely.
Great. Any other predictions for the next race? Where you said it was again?
I think this one is in Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, I think, is going to be the week after this weekend.
Right.
It's going to be in Saudi Arabia.
Sure,
and the last one is Abu Dhabi. Yeah, last one's Abu Dhabi. Predictions. I got Lewis to win if all goes well. Obviously, F1 is one of those sports that
F all goes well.
yeah, it's like any little thing, any little hiccup could definitely screw up your weekend. So definitely hoping that Max could close in that gap, and that the straight line speed of Mercedes is not too overpowered on that weekend. I don't want anyone to split Max and Lewis right now. I just want them to go 1-2 for the next 2 races, so that whichever way it goes is close, and that's all I want. I want butterflies in my stomach when
the last race comes.
The last race comes. I mean, if they could be tied for points and whoever wins the last one wins the championship, that's gonna be epic. Anything could happen. Somebody could finish 4th or 5th, and the points get so close that somebody could win the championship by 1 point in the end. That's even more exciting. So, my predictions: Lewis, Max, and wow, I'll go
Sergio
Charles.
Perez. Whoa.
No, I'm gonna go Charles Leclerc to get a podium. Yeah. Maybe Sergio Perez and Bottas might come 4th or 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Charles could probably come 4th or 5th too, but the last prediction is just what I want. I just want Charles to get some, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, in terms of fighting for the constructors though, I would like for Red Bull to overtake Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't know what a sweep. I don't want Mercedes get the drivers and the constructors, or I don't want Red Bull to do the same thing, right? I want the battles to be so close that next year even more fans come into F1 and start watching. So yeah, that's my prediction. I got Red Bull to overtake Mercedes in the constructors, and I got Lewis to close the gap on Max Verstappen come next weekend. So we'll see what happens.
All right, great. So we can switch over to some boxing news. We had
yes, sir.
Some I don't know if to call it sporty, but interesting ending to the Sean Porter and the Terrence Crawford fight last night.
Yeah.
We can start with Cody. What are your thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, Bud just showed his class. Sean Porter. I can't. I really has to tell me that I picked Sean Porter to win. I don't know how my mind went to that day. That was my bad. That was a misspeak because I know, but yeah,
you really
but
had me shook though. You had me shook when you say Sean Porter would have win. Like you sounded real confident. I was like, I ain't too really sure about that.
I don't know. I don't know how for that boy. I said probably just talking sick at that point. Because yeah, I don't believe that I would have gone against but Crawford in these times. But just show the class, outclass Sean Porter yet again. Show the power. Show how to outbox, how to fight with how to fight from a distance and then fight in like for both range as well. He showed the clinch and everything, and then had him knocked out. Well, it was a throwing from the corner, but technical TKO from anytime from. He's really showing the class and why he should be considered. He's probably not skill for skill as good as Canelo, but he's definitely a top 5 fighter.
What? Yo, this man's arsenal is crazy. All right, I would say that the thing he has on Canelo is the fact that he can fight both stances. Right?
So
if you got a fighter that can fight both stances and switch it up as much as he can to adjust in the ring and win the fight,
right?
I think his skill level is definitely better. They might not be in the same class, right?
Yeah, no.
But yeah, to me, Terence Crawford on paper is the fighter. The fighter.
To me, it seems like Canelo could make the better adjustments in fight, in my opinion. I mean that.
Well, I guess we gotta bring them together and see then.
I guess we will never see it, bro.
I guess that's the only way to find out. But yeah, in all seriousness, though, Terence Crawford has a lot to offer in the ring. He's been hitting those body shots in the clinch, in those close-up fights. Like Sean, obviously, he has a crazy overhead right that Terence would have known about. Sean was throwing those. Some were scraping the surface, some missing, but I think those body shots start to soften up. Soften up Sean a little bit, and then Bud was able to pick his shots. I think Sean got a little bit too aggressive, too quick, but that's his style. I mean, I always knew that. Like I said, he's the bulldog of the division. He's a man that's gonna be all over you. He's gonna wrestle you. Try to get out of clinches, swing left, right. He's gonna do whatever he can in order to win that fight. And I knew that that's what he would have done. And Bud definitely handled it well. I'll say it. Bud handled it well.
Yeah. I also said regarding Sean Porter, because his father / coach was the one that threw in told he was stating that Sean didn't prepare himself as he needed to in order to win that fight, and it was kind of showing in the fight as well as the way Bud was just dismantling him round 1 through 10, really truly. I don't know how you had it scored.
No, I wouldn't say 1 through 10. I thought that like even up to the midpoint of the fight, it was still like tit for tat because it wasn't really a lot that was going on either end. Like you probably could have give Porter some rounds, could have give Terence some rounds, but closer to like the 8th and the 9th when you start to see Terence get into his stride and his groove, starting to get those body shots in, started to get that jab moving. I think it was in the 9th round or so. He started to put out jab a little bit more. It wasn't significant, but it was there. And he started to do a little bit of 1-2s and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say it was a whitewash, but in the end, you could probably argue that, I guess.
I could say I don't know how you had it scored, but for me personally, I only had Sean winning about 2 of those rounds. 1 to 10 to be quite candid with you. I think Bud was just technically superior. So for his father to be saying, Sean Porter's father to be saying that he didn't prepare himself, it was quite evident in the fight. I don't know if personally, to me, I think that the fight could have continued. I think that was a premature stoppage on his father's part, but I do see logic in it. It doesn't make any more sense for his son to continue to get beat up and more damage. For what? Because he's going to lose the fight in cards regardless anyway. So, and he wasn't really touching Bud enough for there to be like the threat of a potential knockout coming into 11-4 from. It was very unlikely there. So. To me, it was a premature stoppage, but it is a stoppage that could be understood. I don't know your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because after the first knockdown, when Sean get back up, he was quickly knocked down again. Yeah. In terms of the caliber of fighter that Sean is. Like, you don't usually see Sean get knocked down that quick twice, you know? Right. And I think after he took like 3 or 4 shots in the second knockdown, his father, like he said, saw that Sean wasn't capable of defending himself like he used to be able to. And he said that's it. He rather enjoy more time with Sean outside of boxing as Sean, and enjoy his son's company, I guess, than to risk having him damaged later on in life, So
yeah.
I understand that. Boxing fans definitely don't understand that aspect in the moment. Like people want to see people so violent minded. People want to see knockouts. You understand? Yeah, so yeah. I think people would have definitely wanted Sean to fight on and then a stoppage by the ref or something. But like you said, it's understood. Kenny Porter, which is Sean's father, like he's not new to the sport, like he already knows his son in and out. Yeah, he's been in his son's corner for almost his entire career, right? So he knows his son in and out. He knows when he's in, he knows when he's not the Sean that he should be, and I think in a press conference, Sean said Kenny said that Sean like slammed the floor with his gloves when he was getting back up in anger after like he made that decision, because like he was angry with himself that he made maybe those mistakes inside the ring and he wasn't able to defend himself like he should have. So yeah, it's understood, man. It's understood. But who's next for Terrence? I mean, I think it's Spence.
But see, I have some tension there with Errol Spence. Errol Spence was in the crowd, and then as soon as the camera panned to him, and then Bud Crawford was talking his talk, hope the fighters gonna do it. But Spence immediately started walking up the arena. Kind of show a sign of weakness. I ain't cat, but so you think well, I ain't saying Errol Spence soft because that boy can box, but.
That boy got body shot knockouts, yo. So
yeah, so
it's all.
He ain't taking them.
But that's to show you.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, but do you think no Errol Spence is the guy to beat Crawford, or is he just next? If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think Errol Spence is the guy to fight Crawford.
He's next. That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Next. I actually thought that you make next as in the next stepping stone for Bud, meaning that Bud will win. But I don't know if Bud will win or not, because that's definitely going to be a nice matchup. Errol Spence hasn't had a lot of southpaws to fight because he's a southpaw himself. So most of the fighters he fought have been standard traditional orthodox boxers. So
in the open stance.
Yeah, so that'll be definitely interesting to see. Both of them are highly skilled fighters, so it's definitely was next for Terrence. Definitely was next for Errol Spence. Errol Spence lost his opportunity with Manny Pacquiao. I don't know if you want to bring Ugas into this conversation and get a fight for Ugas as well between either Terrence or Errol Spence, because Errol Spence had that retina injury. So who knows? I think Spence is next, but only Spence corner could tell you if Spence is ready for that fight.
I think is right. This is one difference between boxing and MMA, right?
Mm-hmm.
The WBO, no. Who it's not going to give a mandatory. It's the mandatory who we want Bud Crawford to fight. That's the difference with MMA, because in the UFC, fans can dictate which fights we want to see. But the WBO is not going to give a mandatory to somebody we may not necessarily even want for Bud Crawford. But Aerospace is the most logical choice right now. I think that he gives Bud the most challenge for sure. But they probably get some kid, undefeated kid that we have no idea who he is, a Taylor shot.
Yeah.
Which is the problem, Boston.
Saint Sean Porter announced his retirement. I don't know if that knockout sent him home, but since he announced his retirement, that's one less good candidate in the welterweight.
Yeah.
So I honestly think Terrence and Errol Spence should take this opportunity to do something great with each other. You don't get to see much trilogies and that kind of stuff in the welterweight division. That's like a heavyweight niche type of thing. But I would like to see them fight one another, definitely. Keith Thurman, probably old, not coming back. Ugas is the other guy with a belt, so he's definitely in conversation. I don't know if Manny Pacquiao going to keep on coming since he lost his belt to Ugas.
Pacquiao retire?
Pacquiao?
Yeah, I thought so. I could be wrong though, but
I have no idea. After Ugas fight, I didn't really follow Pac-Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old he is now?
40 something.
Or isn't he almost 50?
Yeah, he up there with Floyd.
Yeah.
Somewhere up there. But yeah, though, I don't. Could we possibly see some British boxers coming across and I guess trying to get some of those welterweight belts
from WBC? Potentially, but
hopefully.
Potentially.
But welterweight definitely needs some more participants, for lack of a better term, inside that circle of.
Canelo coming though.
Because
Canelo coming, because if he beat, I forget the African fella's name, but I saw it, but Canelo did but he was near. I cannot remember the fella's name though, but the African fighter man in the cruiserweight division. He's short for the division, but I cannot remember his name. Anyway, Canelo size-wise, Canelo did not that small against a cruiserweight. So if Canelo get up that cruiserweight, he can come for welterweight. I tell you.
I know it can be hard to drop some weight, but I mean, if that's the division that needs attention and he can see himself getting back there, then sure. I mean, he still got middleweight and super middleweight. Charlo's looking decent still. There much going on in that.
I take Charlo's and just keep running those divisions. I feel like then Charlo's divisions at this point.
Yeah, so I don't know, man, but I'll definitely like to see more players come in. I think most of those welterweight guys have been in welterweight for so long. I know those top guys are leaving. Sean just left. Keith Thurman, he just came back to fight Manny Pacquiao, really. Lost. Once his belt was gone, he was like kind of out of the conversation. So now it's just Spence, Crawford, Ugas. Let me make it happen. One of the three fights got to happen.
It's gotta happen,
yeah.
Quick one, Cody. Anything coming up on the MMA side?
Nah, not at all, boy. Sorry, guys.
Everything week for the next couple of weeks before 269, 268.
269. So like even this weekend we had a card, but it was literally nothing to talk about. Tate versus Vera. I ain't even comment on this. We had like a whole bunch of decisions, not many knockouts, not many submissions, nothing. That was just a dud, especially after the last 3 weeks that we know had. Like I read someone say that Michael Chandler would win MMA because everything else seems so crap.
Losing you a bit, Cody.
That's far away. Waiting for December 11th, but
December 11th.
I guess that's a big time. So, MMA fans, you just gotta hold your horses a little bit.
Yeah.
Name the game. Any other sports that you guys want to talk about? I know that I think wrestling started to play Sri Lanka. I ain't really checking to see how it started out. I don't know if any of you guys get it.
is Sri Lanka they're playing
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cricket.
that's good.
again?
Yeah.
Shit.
Man, no that yeah, that these men are ICC. These men are playing boy. See, when I see that list that they put out with all the things that they got from 2024,
Yeah.
the men again, the men
Yeah.
of
It's meant to be for
bread.
beer tournaments.
Men again, the men of bread, boy.
Yeah.
That's ain't serious. Anything else from you, Hans?
Um, sports wise, just tune into F1, people. Tune into F1 for sure. The next two races is definitely going to be hype. The battle's going to be close, like we mentioned. So definitely tune into F1.
Right, sweet. I think that's it. Nothing else from me. I don't have any other sports to mention. But again, a great show with all the guys. Thanks for the viewers for coming out as usual. If you haven't already, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Follow us on Instagram and on Twitter and at Hashtag Bros. Usually socials for everything so far.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're interested in in joining the discussion, you can always shoot us an email, hashtagros at gmail.com. We'd love to have anyone interested to talk about any sports they're willing to on the show.
Except
So
lacrosse.
except lacrosse and baseball. But yeah,
Lacrosse.
a great time, a great show. Thanks again for coming out, and we'll see you in the next one.